Hello, beautiful, beautiful evening. So excited to be here today for our next edition of Sexy Tuesday. Today, with profoundly vulnerable and deeply sharing story around myself, my marriage, and what it took me personally to actually prevent stepping into divorce room and fully reclaim the health and the longevity of my own marriage. Hello, Debbie Joe. Gorgeous to have you here with me. Hi, Suzanne. Lovely to see you. Hi, Sandra. So beautiful to connect this evening. So, as we dive in, I want to share that when I was speaking about this on Facebook kind of today and yesterday, I got so many private messages from women from different walks of life, basically sharing with me that they have so seen themselves in my own story and in my own experience, but it's definitely the fear of being seen or like some level of shame that has prevented to them openly commenting on my post. So in what I'm trying to say with this is there are definitely so many of us that are going through the old paradigms of what does it take to feel love and alive and connected to our partners. And I think the biggest pain that as a society by and large we are experiencing is that the cultural narrative is that as long as two people are together, right, husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend in long-term relationship, they must be good, like things must be good, right? Things are only bad if people have broken up, if people have actually divorced. And the truth is that this old paradigm is destroying so many people's souls, is destroying so many people's hearts, and so many women, so many men. I don't work with men, but definitely speak to a lot of men. They are suffering in silence, or they are not trying to shake up the status quo because of the fear of what will people say, or the impact it will have on their children, or fear of stepping into the unknown. And if you're finding yourself like in any of this, please know that I know what it feels like, because I have been there myself. And without a question, for years and years, I was like literally ready to step into the divorce room because I was not able to get the love and the connection from my husband that I deeply, deeply craved. So me and my husband, we are together for 14 years now. We are together since 2005. It has been very wild journey. I'm not gonna lie, it's been super, super wild journey. But to put a little bit things in perspective for you, is when we initially started to be together back in 2005, um, I have I was like in my early 20s. I was literally 22. My husband, obviously boyfriend at the time, he was 25. And I stepped into the relationship just coming off a divorce. I was getting divorced from my first husband. The relationship was very abusive, psychologically, emotionally. So I was like stepping into the relationship with a narrative that men are not safe and men cannot be trusted. I also come from a childhood of tremendous wounding, of being abandoned by my father, of never having like a template or role model of a good relationship. So I stepped into my relationship with Hassan with so much wounding and so much emotional garbage. So when all of these things, became obvious to me, and it became obvious to me how much I am hurting him with not knowing how to, communicate to him in a safe way, or open my heart fully to him. He was incredible. He was incredible from start. I like really devoted myself to a personal development journey. I hired a coach. I started to work with a counselor. I, began to practice yoga and meditation, and, went madly into self-help books. Like I really, really went into it. And what has happened in that process is that I have healed a lot of my childhood wounding. And I started to like ascend, or you can say like spiritually evolve or personally evolve at a speed of light. Like it was incredible. Once I got on the journey of personal development, it was like boom, 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 boom. It was like this ascension so fast. And there would literally be people in my life, like my friends and, some of our family, they would be like, oh my God, like Dagmar, you're so changing, you're so transforming. It's incredible. But now I was getting to this new pain, real pain, where it's like the disparity between myself and my husband was becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And suddenly I begin to put myself on a pedestal, like I am the evolved and I am the healed and I'm the conscious person in our relationship. And he's just like in his constantly same patterns for last 10 years of his life. So there was profound disparity between us. And I believed at the core of me that he is not the man for me because he is not spiritually evolved enough and he is not invested in his healing like I am. And at the core, it was tearing me in pieces. It was tearing me in pieces to know that I have done such a deep healing journey so I can have the marriage I want. And now I went so far and I am like falling apart and I am crumbling. And there was pretty much like no one that knew about except the mentors that I was seeking and the coaches that I was working with to really, really help me understand, is he the man for me? Is he not the man for me? And I think the biggest piece around all of these dynamics and the biggest pain around these dynamics was that as I, was putting myself on pedestal and really letting my ego run the show of our relationship and our interaction, I was like using a lot of shame. I was using a lot of projection and subtle form of manipulation to kind of influence my husband to be the man I want to have. And guess what? It was causing me so much pain. And the more and more pain I will be in, the more he will be not able to be the man I want him to be, the more I'll be convincing myself that he is not the man for me, and the more ready I will be to literally step into the divorce room. So this was our dynamics for a really, really long time. And on this, I work with spiritual healers. I work with mentors who are like fully involved in trauma healing. I work with like some of the best coaches in the personal development. I invested so much money and so much resources and so much energy to really get to the core of what's going on and why, even though I am, very much involved in my personal growth, I am so struggling in my relationship. So I would say that there were like a lot of things that were opening my eyes and a lot of pieces that were inviting me to like invest into deeper parts of my psyche and deeper parts of my heart over and over again. And it was not until I have came across the concept of heartful goddess that I'll be sharing with you today, and not only got to learn about this archetype of heartful goddess, but actually fully stepped into her, fully embodied her, and initiated her inside of my marriage, that I first and foremost stopped. I have stopped constantly shaming my husband. I have stopped trying to change him. I have stopped trying to tell him over and over again that if he does not change, he is not good enough for me. And in that space of dropping the shame, dropping the guilt, dropping the projection, letting go of the expectations, I have leaned into my feminine essence. I have leaned into space of surrender and so much more unconditional love. I am not gonna say right now that I'm in unconditional love. I think we as humans have no even freaking idea what unconditional love is. And I think there are maybe only a handful of people on the planet who are really able to fully experience unconditional love for their partners. But I really started to emerge into that and maybe experience that for a few minutes through the day, which were profoundly heart opening, profoundly awakening to the truth and the beauty of relationship, of the man, of my husband that is in front of me. And in this process of dropping the shame, the guilt, the projection, leaning back into my feminine essence and focusing on the goodness and the beauty and everything we have created in the last 14 years, literally my marriage has transformed in front of my eyes. Now, without forcing, without pushing, without, trying to tell my husband what I want, he has, in that space of me backing off and allowing him to be, he has literally ascended to be the man that I love to be in his presence. He showers me with his love and with bouquet of flowers and with sensual text, and he talks to me like his queen. Literally the space of allowing and the space of acceptance has transformed my marriage in front of my eyes. So I would love to share with you in all of this, what is actually the Heartful Goddess about, and how what I have claimed in myself and what I have stepped into inside of myself that allowed my marriage to transform and my man to be the type of partner, the type of husband that I absolutely love to be around. So who is excited to hear this? Who is excited to hear my secret framework? Hi, Kate. Hi, gorgeous. Hello, Renee. So lovely to have you here with me today. Hi, Stephanie. Hello, goddess. So the process of Heartful Goddess is really about dropping the fight, dropping the nagging, dropping the resentment, and ascending in your marriage, ascending in your feminine sensuality. So the first piece that's absolutely essential is about releasing your partner from the nagging grips, from the grips of your nagging resentment and frustration about how clueless he is about what your needs are, how you want to be treated, and what he needs to do in order for you to feel loved. This is huge. So what happens for most of us is we grow up or throughout our childhood, we don't get our needs met fully. Your story can be that your father has abandoned you. Your story can be that you grew up with narcissistic mother. Your story can be that maybe you had both parents, but they were not emotionally available. There can be a lot of different nuances to this, right? And what happens in our childhood is we literally get the imprint around getting our needs for safety, love, and intimate belonging. And we grow up, we become adults, and we bring this imprint into our relationship. So for most people, for most women, they are first and foremost not fully attuned to their needs. They are not fully attuned to what is it they need in a physical way, in energetic way, in a mental way, in an emotional way to actually feel happy, alive, and fulfilled. Or they know it very well, but they strip their self-responsibility for taking care of their own needs, and they're constantly nagging and projecting on their partners like, you are responsible for my happiness, you are responsible for my fulfillment. Look at, this man does this for his woman, and look, you didn't bring me like bouquet of flowers for last 6 months, right? So there is constant shaming and nagging and resentment. And guess what happens to your man when you do this? He is feeling not good enough. That's it. And when your man is dealing with shame, when your man is dealing with constant messages that he is not good enough, guess what? He is gonna spiral. He is gonna be either attacking back at you, so you're in constant spiral of arguments, or he's gonna withdraw. He's gonna pull back. He's gonna go in his cave, and suddenly you feel like this lonely, miserable, you are married or you are in long-term relationship, but you feel so freaking lonely. So this first piece that's absolutely critical is you gonna know what your needs are, and you, my darling friend, really have to start taking care of your needs like your life depends on it, which will allow you to be fulfilled. And then, hi Valencia, hi gorgeous, and then with love, with attention, with presence, when you reach out to your partner, to your husband for, sweetheart, I need you to hold me. Like literally today, what I did, I was in office in the afternoon, and I was dealing like with big changes in my business right now that are making me really, really vulnerable. And I sent a text to my husband this afternoon, and I said, sweetheart, can I request? Can I have a request? Can I ask you something? And he responded literally in a few seconds, and he said, yes, absolutely. What is it that you need, babes? And I said, I need to be held. And I literally need you to cradle me in your arms this evening, and I need to be held. And he knows, because we have developed so much clarity about my needs in our relationship, he knows that I don't say this frequently. I say this maybe once in a month, once in a 6 weeks, but he knows when I request for being held, I need so much emotional safety, and I need so much emotional cradling, and he is able to give that to me. So my question to you right here, right now, and you can definitely share that in the comments, is that you're watching right here, or you're watching on replay, what are your needs for emotional connection, for emotional safety, for intimate belonging? Do you know what your needs are? And are you able to share that with your partner, with your husband, in a way that allows him to feel accomplished? Not in a way that lets him be like shamed or not good enough, but actually allows him to feel accomplished. Me reaching out to my husband and, firstly asking a permission, like, can I ask, can I have a request? Gives him space, it gives him a choice. He can say yes or no. And at the same time, it's like, okay, what is it? And then I say my need with a crystal clarity. And again, he can have a choice, yes or no. And he says yes. So there is a clarity, absolute clarity. There is a choice. And that is you knowing what your needs are. So freaking powerful. The second piece, the second bread and butter of Heart for Goddess, are you ready for this? Is about breaking free from patterns of love sabotage and constant frustration to reclaiming physical, emotional, mental, and somatic safety. Physical, mental, emotional, and somatic safety. So what happens for a lot of women in long-term relationship is they either stop having sex, or sex is like this, really charged topic. Is so charged topic for so many couples. And there's, of course, one side of the story, which is a man, and there's another side of the story, which is a woman. Usually, obviously, there are a lot of different flavors to this, but usually man is like, he doesn't feel desired, he doesn't feel wanted, he doesn't feel good enough because his wife or his girlfriend is rejecting sex, which is having a massive impact on his ego and good enoughness. And woman is like, I can't give him sex because he doesn't give me what I need, which takes us back to the first point, right? Know what your needs are and communicate them in a way that your partner can receive them. And when it comes to the needs, so much of that boils down to emotional and somatic safety. If you have the sense of collapse, or the sense of like that is like your pelvis or your belly is shutting down whenever you either think about sex, or the two of you get naked inside of a bedroom, this boils down, this is a direct reflection that in your body, in your soma, you're not feeling enough safety. And your body is giving you the cue around, no, 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 don't have sex, don't have sexual intimacy, don't have, physical touch, because this doesn't feel okay in my body. My body is going through collapse. My body is re-experiencing trauma. My body is feeling disgust. My body feels that my partner is clueless about my pleasure. There can be so many different things to this. So in the second foundation, what you really gotta dive into, my darling friend, is fully dropping the frustration, fully dropping the love sabotage, and starting to create the safety inside of yourself, inside of your body, inside of your energy, inside of your mind, inside of your heart. It's up to you. It's up to you to reclaim physical safety. It's up to you to reclaim safety in your heart and have a fullness of capacity to love your man. It's up to you to drop the anxiety and step into mental safety. It's up to you to rebuild somatic safety. Now, all of this is something that requires working with the nervous system, and this is something that I do on a very, very deep level inside of my one-on-one mentoring that I'll be talking to you in a moment. It's a profound opportunity to work with me on this in a very deep and specific way. And physical, mental, emotional, somatic safety is also what I deeply support my clients inside of Flourish Academy. Because once you establish safety, that is the way you connect to your partner, the way you connect to your husband transforms. And from that place of you feeling safe about your needs, opening your heart in your body, you'll be able to bring in, couples building exercises, or like relational safety building exercises that will be so easy to implement, because suddenly you're able to have like this profound anchor inside of your body to actually dive into that and experience that and feel into that with your partner or with your husband. Third foundation. Are you ready for this? I love this one. This is about transforming from frigging hating your man to loving him like your life. Okay. I a little bit missed myself here. So transforming your frigging hate of your partner to loving him like never before, as you heal your childhood trauma that is keeping you trapped in the cycles of never-ending drama. So let's have real heart-to-heart conversation here. I hear so many women giving out openly about their partners. Now, when I was going through my shit and my own pain, and I was struggling, the truth is that I was never talking bad about my husband openly. I might be complaining about him with my mentor or when I was working with my therapist, but never, ever openly, never. And when I see so many women like giving out about their husband, giving out about their partner, he doesn't see me, he doesn't hear me, he doesn't do this for me, he never helps around home, he's always away, whatever, da-di-da-di-da. And there's so much bitterness pouring out of their mouth. You know what? It really cracks my heart in 10,000 pieces. Because the truth is, there are around 3 billion women on this planet right now. 3 billion planet on this woman. And if you are with your man and your man has chosen you to create a lifelong commitment over other 3 billion women, you are one freaking lucky woman. And the reason why you feel so unseen and unheard and, invisible and unloved is because the constant poison of hate that you're not only keeping in your relationship, but now you're also spilling it outside of the container of your relationship. To me, this is a big red warning sign. Huge. So what you have to claim as a heartful goddess, what you have to claim to save your relationship from divorce and ascend into the love and intimacy you crave, you have to start loving your man like your life, like your every heartbeat. Your every heartbeat depends on it. This is the biggest mind shift I have had in my own marriage. When I stopped all the drama and all the projection, all the like, my husband should be like this and that, and it's like, allow me to love the man that's in front of me with all of his beauty, with all of his power, with all of his not good enoughness, with all of his childhood trauma. Allow me to love this man that's in front of me like this heartbeat and the next heartbeat and the following heartbeat depends on it. Guess what? It changed everything. It changed what I focus, how I feel, how he feels, our energy, our communication, our togetherness. This is the mind shift that you are waiting for. Got it? I hope you got it. Let me know in the comments below what's coming up for you. Knowing and inviting yourself to love your man like your heartbeat. Every heartbeat depends on it. Stephanie says, I recognize moments of feeling like that, but haven't been able to communicate it. I love this. So good. All right. Foundation number 5. Foundation number 5. You gotta let your partner madly re-fall in love with you. So now you're switching the gears. He is re-falling in love with you by you stepping into your feminine essence and you falling in love with your emotions and getting busy with things you love. So your partner has to madly re-fall in love with you as you are stepping into your feminine radiance. This means at the core, healing the control freak inside of you. Healing the controlling bitch and manipulator that wants to have everything fixed and everything perfect and all the things fall in place today. It means you leaning back and focusing on your well-being, focusing on your nourishment, focusing on your pleasure, focusing on your sensuality, focusing on spending time with your womb, focusing on doing breath work and yoga and spending time in nature and going to spa and wearing red lipstick and, going out with girlfriends from a state of not like, I'm going to punish him, so he will be the one who's watching the kids. No, it's like, allow me to connect and have a joy and pleasure in my life. And when you devote pleasure and really bring in pleasure into your everyday, it allows you to be fulfilled. It allows you to be happy. It allows you to be nourished and turn on. It allows you to go from state of like chronically in your head and anxiety and panic attacks and stress and trying to control everything to like, I can surrender. I can fall into pleasure. I can lean back. I can be in my feminine power that very likely attracted my man into my life and into me in the first place. And guess what? Your man cannot wait. He literally cannot wait. Probably he does not think about it consciously, but on subconscious level, he cannot wait for you to chill the heck out and start living in your pleasure. Start seeing you happy and lit up and engaged and feeling your emotions and getting busy with things you love, because nothing makes him happier than actually seeing you happy, seeing you in your power, seeing you in your pleasure, seeing you in your presence. This was a massive shift in our own relationship. And the more time the less time I spend it on shame and projection my husband, and the more I started to lean back and, do things that really nourish me on a deep, deep, deep level. It was like, when I would go back to my husband, I will communicate to him or connect with him from a state of connection, from a state of being intimate with myself and with my own pleasure and with my own needs, just like infused so much deep, loving, harmonious connection with him. And it is the freedom that I wish for you. It is the freedom that I cannot wait for you to experience in your relationship, because it is the freedom that you're absolutely, absolutely craving for. And the last foundation, you must be ready for this. You must be ready for this. The last foundation of Heartful Goddess is you fully, fully healing your grief, your anger, and your emotional sorrow, and claiming the power of your heart as you alter the course of your love life forever. So here is the thing. So much of stuff that tends to build up in our relationships, whether that's partnership or marriage, it's like the small thing here and small hurt there, and little being condescending here, and not being seen for our needs there, and maybe coupled with some grief, whatever. The small, small stuff builds up, right? And when we don't take time to process and digest our emotions on a regular basis, it creates like this bitterness or resentment or a lot of like surface level anger. And what I have found more often than not is at the core, it's not resentment. At the core is not being picky. At the core is not, feeling like he should be like this. At the core, what is the emotional reality is a grief. It's usually a lot of grief, or there might be also a lot of anger. So for me personally, I was dealing with tremendous amount of emotional grief. And when I was going through the like deep pains of my relationship, I felt the story that I have adopted is it's not safe for me to grieve. Like, my husband would not find me attractive, or he will not allow me to grieve. He will call me names and he will judge me and criticize me. So I have created all these stories that did not create a space I needed to grieve. But inside, at the core of me, I was falling apart. I needed to grieve so much that what I did in my despair to release the grief from my system is I have actually built a practices. I have built a safe, emotionally grieving practices that allowed me on a regular basis to, quote unquote, fall apart fully and then put myself back together. So I would fall apart and grieve and release and discharge and, be so tender and vulnerable for, 10, 15 minutes. And then I'll bring myself back together, and I'll be able to go through the day and through my responsibilities with grace and power and ease and groundedness. And next day, I will repeat the process. These are the same process and practices I teach now my clients and students, and they are the essential medicine we need as women to release and discharge the emotional pain that lives inside of us, so we can put ourselves back together and truly, with that space, do a repair work on our heart that allows us to love more, that allows us to feel safe around opening and trusting and receiving love from our man. And in that, I'll literally alter the course of our love life forever, forever. So Stephanie says, thank you, Dagmar, choosing to love my man instead of pulling him apart. Yes, it is a radical paradigm shift. And I know if you're a woman who is in this group where we are creating the conscious groundwork for what is this new paradigm in love and in intimacy and in sexuality. You are ready for receiving this. You're ready for ascending into the new way of being, and you're ready for transforming your relationship from inside out. So let me ask you this. Are you ready for transformation? Are you ready to heal the wounds, the shame, the pain, the grief from your relationship, from your marriage, and ascend into heartfelt intimacy? The beautiful news is that I have 2 spots available to work with me one-on-one in my Heartful Goddess program, which is a 3 months most healing and sacred sensual healing ascension that will allow you to fully heal the pain, the drama, the trauma, and ascend into your feminine essence to forever transform the course of your love life. I've been through this process. I've journeyed the healing in my marriage, in my own shoes, in my own heart, and in my own womb. And everything that I'm bringing into this one-on-one mentoring absolutely comes from my own experience and from studying this body of work, the attachment theory, the nervous system, the sexuality, the tantra, the relationship healing for last 15 years. So when you decide to ascend, even if it might feel scary and vulnerable and there might be a lot of fear coming up, I'm going to hold you and support you like no other person on this planet. So here is the opportunity. Right now, as you are hearing this, as you're listening this, you're watching on replay, you have 2 choices. If you're in a long-term relationship, you have 2 choices. You can either keep waking up every single morning, going through the same cycles of pain and struggle and frustration and disconnection, or maybe with a little bit of tenderness in your heart, maybe feeling a lot of vulnerability coming up, you can reach out to me for support. And it is as simple as sending me a message. You can send me a private message on Messenger and simply say, what's your video? What's the next step? Or what's your video? I want to connect. Let's connect. And as you reach out for support, we're going to have just a really, really heartfelt conversation about what is the Heartful Goddess about? What is this sacred sensual awakening process? How it will serve you, how it will support you in your love life and in your marriage, and truly, truly attune to whether we are a good fit about working together. Because here is my thing. I am having only 2 spots for this opportunity, and the 2 lucky and amazing women that I get to work with over the next 3 months are truly women that I will be like fully invested in their healing and their transformation. And I want, by the end of what we have, August, September, October, by the end of October, I want 2 marriages or 2 long-term relationships on this planet to fully transform. So when you reach out for support and when we have the heartfelt conversation, it's not about, selling you into a certain process, certain program, when I genuinely feel that this is not going to support you. I so deeply care about this program being the solution for your relationship, for your marriage, and truly giving you the support, the guidance, the tools, the deep healing processes that will truly allow you come back to the power of your heart, ascend into your feminine radiance, and reclaim the love and the intimacy with your partner. Your partner is waiting for this. Your husband is secretly craving for this. And it is your choice now to either stay on the perpetual cycle of struggling or reach out to me. Let's connect and have a beautiful, heartfelt conversation. My husband often tells me that it's like, he often tells me, it's like, thank you for doing what you have done for yourself. Thank you for, studying yourself on such a deep level. Thank you for leaning into your feminine essence. Thank you for leaning into your pleasure. Thank you for dropping the shame and the projection, allowing me to be the man who wants to be there for you, who wants to love you, who wants to cherish you, who wants to adore you. And thank you for really, really recognizing that and journeying through the process yourself, because the love that we have now, it is breathtaking. And it is the love that allows our beautiful baby boy, who is now 20 months, he's 20 months old, to absolutely flourish, to absolutely be so deeply loved and grow and thrive in an environment of profound love and profound safety and playfulness and joy and radiance. So if this is speaking to you, if this is elevating you, if this is resonating with you, reach out to me. Let's connect. Let's have a heartfelt chat, and know that the transformation, the healing, the ascension you so deeply desire in your marriage is absolutely possible. Divorce is not an option. I mean, of course, sometimes it's an option, but what I mean by that is when we don't do our deep healing work and we think, divorce is the answer I'm looking for, the next relationship when I get into will absolutely, absolutely be recreating the same patterns we have just experienced in our previous relationship. It is up to us to heal and attend what has to be healed and attended to. And guess what? Then we can get the love we so deeply desire. Okay, divine woman, I'm sending you so, so, so much love. You're amazing. Feel free to ask me any questions as you are digesting this, as you're watching on replay. You can comment with anything on this video. I'm super happy to support you, and let's journey this journey of love and transformation together. You are amazing. It's time to make it happen.